A killer left behind a chilling lipstick message at a crime scene. The message, written in bold red strokes, was a stark contrast against the cold, reflective surface of the mirror. It was as if the very essence of fear had been captured in those crimson letters. The room, dimly lit, seemed to echo the silent screams of the victim, amplifying the horror of the scene. The message wasn't just a clue, it was a declaration, a taunt, a promise of more to come. Imagine the fear that gripped investigators as they realized they were dealing with something truly sinister. The seasoned detectives, who had seen their fair share of gruesome scenes, were visibly shaken. Their flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing the grim details of the crime scene. The air was thick with tension, and the weight of the situation pressed heavily on their shoulders. Each officer's face told a story of dread and determination, knowing they were up against a cunning and ruthless adversary. This wasn't just a murder, it was a statement. The crime scene was meticulously staged, every detail carefully planned to send a clear message. The bloody evidence scattered around was not just a sign of violence, but a deliberate act to instill fear. The yellow crime scene tape fluttered in the night breeze, a stark reminder of the boundary between safety and danger. The officers huddled together, discussing their next steps, aware that every move they made was being watched by the unseen predator. A terrifying glimpse into the mind of a predator who toyed with authorities, leaving his chilling calling card in crimson lipstick. The shadowy figure lurking in the dark alley was a phantom, a ghost that slipped through the fingers of law enforcement. The red lipstick, now a symbol of dread, was carefully examined by the police, each stroke analyzed for clues. This was a game of cat and mouse, and the predator was always one step ahead, reveling in the chaos he created. The year was 1990, and this was just the beginning of a reign of terror. The streets, bustling with the energy of the 90s, were now overshadowed by the fear of an unknown killer. Vintage police cars lined the crime scene, their lights flashing a warning to the public. News footage from the era captured the growing panic as the community grappled with the realization that a monster was in their midst. This was not just a series of crimes, it was a dark chapter in the city's history, one that would haunt its residents for years to come. The quiet suburbs, a place where families felt safe, became a hunting ground. From 1990 to 1991, fear permeated the air as news of brutal murders spread like wildfire. Young women, their lives full of promise, were being targeted. The killer's method was cold, calculated, and deeply disturbing. Clues were left behind, but they seemed to raise more questions than answers, deepening the mystery and baffling even the most seasoned investigators. Each victim had a story, dreams that would never be realized. Their lives were cut short, stolen by a predator who walked among them. The victims, all young women, shared a terrifying fate. They were found in their homes, their lives taken in a brutal and deeply personal way. The killer didn't just want to kill, he wanted to humiliate, to degrade, leaving a trail of fear and sorrow in his wake. As the body count rose, a chilling pattern emerged. Lipstick, a symbol of beauty and femininity, was twisted into something grotesque. The killer used it to write messages, taunting the police and leaving them desperate for answers. It wasn't just the messages that were significant, it was the colors of lipstick themselves. Each color seemed deliberate, chosen for a specific reason, adding another layer to the puzzle that was this killer's psyche. The killer's methods were more than just brutal, they were ritualistic. Each crime scene was meticulously staged, almost as if he were creating a macabre piece of art. The precision with which he carried out his heinous acts suggested a deep-seated compulsion, a need to follow a specific, unyielding pattern. It was as if he derived some twisted satisfaction from the predictability of his own cruelty. There was a pattern to his madness, a twisted logic that only he understood. Detectives pored over the evidence, trying to decipher the meaning behind his actions. Each clue, each piece of evidence seemed to fit into a larger, more sinister puzzle. The killer's mind was a labyrinth of dark thoughts and malevolent intentions, and the investigators were determined to navigate it. The way he positioned the bodies, the care he took in arranging them, spoke volumes about his meticulous nature. It was as if he wanted to leave a message, a calling card that only the most astute observers could understand. The positioning was not random. It was deliberate, calculated, and chillingly precise. The specific items he took from the crime scenes, often personal and seemingly insignificant, held a deeper meaning. These items were trophies, mementos of his dark deeds. They were carefully chosen, each one a piece of the puzzle that made up his twisted psyche. The investigators knew that understanding the significance of these items was key to understanding the killer himself. The messages he left behind all pointed to a mind consumed by darkness. Written in lipstick, these messages were taunting, mocking the authorities and the victims' families. They were not just random scribbles, they were carefully crafted statements, each one revealing a glimpse into the killer's disturbed mind. The lipstick messages weren't just trademarks, they were sinister signatures revealing a twisted mindset. Each message was a piece of the killer's identity, a way for him to leave his mark on the world. The detectives knew that these messages were more than just clues, they were windows into the soul of a deeply disturbed individual. They were sinister signatures, revealing a twisted mindset, a desire to shock and horrify. The killer thrived on the fear and confusion he caused, relishing the power he held over his victims and the authorities. Each message was a testament to his need for control, his desire to instill terror in the hearts of those who discovered his gruesome handiwork, a desire to shock and horrify. The community was left in a state of perpetual fear, never knowing when or where the killer would strike next. The detectives worked tirelessly, knowing that each passing day brought the possibility of another victim. The killer's reign of terror seemed unending, a dark cloud that hung over the city, casting a shadow of dread and uncertainty. Decades of silence. Years turned into decades, and the case went cold. The lipstick messages faded, but the memory of the victims and the terror they endured lingered. The lack of answers only amplified the pain for the families left behind. The whispers of the lipstick killer became a chilling reminder of the city's dark past, a ghost story whispered from generation to generation. DNA breakthrough. Just when hope seemed lost, a breakthrough. In 2022, advancements in DNA technology provided the break investigators had been waiting for. A match. Finally, a name to the face of evil. A chance to bring closure to families who had waited for so long. The DNA evidence taken from one of the crime scenes was matched to a suspect who had been living a seemingly normal life all these years. The mind of a killer. Understanding the motivations of such a predator is a daunting task. What drove this individual to commit such horrific acts? Was it a need for power, a desire to inflict pain, or something even more sinister lurking beneath the surface? The lipstick messages, once symbols of fear, now became crucial pieces in understanding the killer's psyche. Justice delayed. The arrest brought a mix of emotions, relief, anger, and a thirst for justice. The wheels of the legal system began to turn, but for the families of the victims, the scars of the past remained. The breakthrough in 2022 provided some answers, but it also reopened old wounds. The trial was a media sensation, bringing the horrific details of the crimes back into the public eye. The lipstick killer, once a ghost story, was now a man facing justice. The arrest of the lipstick killer was a moment that many had been waiting for decades. It was a case that had haunted the community, a dark shadow that loomed over the lives of those who had lost loved ones. The initial relief of the arrest was palpable, but it was quickly followed by a wave of anger and frustration. How could it have taken so long? Why had justice been delayed for so many years? These were the questions that echoed in the minds of the victims' families and the community at large. As the legal proceedings began, the courtroom became a stage for a drama that had been unfolding for years. Families of the victims sat in the gallery, their faces etched with grief and determination. They had waited so long for this moment, and now they were finally seeing the man who had caused them so much pain. The media coverage was relentless, with every detail of the trial being broadcast to a captivated audience. The public was reminded of the horrific nature of the crimes, and the lipstick killer, once a faceless monster, was now a man who had to answer for his actions. The trial was not just about seeking justice for the victims. it was also about healing for the community. The scars left by the lipstick killer's crimes were deep, and the trial was a chance for those wounds to begin to heal. But it was not an easy process. The details of the crimes were graphic and disturbing, and hearing them again was like ripping open old wounds for the families. Yet there was also a sense of closure, a feeling that finally the man responsible for so much pain was being held accountable. The lipstick killer's trial was a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. Despite the years of pain and suffering, the families of the victims showed incredible strength and courage. They faced the man who had taken so much from them, and they did so with dignity and grace. The trial was a testament to their unwavering determination to see justice served, no matter how long it took. In the end, the trial of the lipstick killer was about more than just one man facing justice. It was about a community coming together to support each other, to heal, and to ensure that the memories of the victims were honored. It was a reminder that justice, though sometimes delayed, is a powerful force that can bring closure and healing to those who need it most.